So alright guys, in today's video I will show to you how I got to this from this. But before we start this video, before I actually show to you how I tidied up this little Dendrobium Spring Dream Apollon, I want to take a moment and wish you all a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a quiet and peaceful holidays, and I wish you all the good in the world. Now let's get started. Okay, so as you can see, the orchid is almost in full bloom, but it does need some tidying up, because the new canes which are in bloom are facing downwards, because they are basically pushed frontwards by these old canes. And I will show to you the back of the plant. The orchid is actually leaning forward, and I already have lots of new growths, but some of the older growths are just not needed anymore. So what I'm going to do, it is to remove part of them which are not in bloom, and which I consider to be useless at this point. So I will take a cutting knife, and I will go ahead, by the way this is sterilized, and I will go ahead and cut off some of the canes which I believe I don't need anymore. On this one, for example, I had a cake growing which just now started to produce roots, so I'm going to go ahead and place this one on some moss to promote the roots. Here I have another one which I think I will leave, because this is a new cane. Let's see, this one, which is the tallest one, is really ugly, and I just don't want it here. But it does has some blooms, so I think I will just leave it. So not all the canes have used every single node, but on this orchid last year I did not had roots. So right this time she did produce something, but all of them were cakeys. So these canes which grew on this manner, and they were pretty much genetically programmed to produce a lot of cakeys, and I don't believe I will have from the other nodes blooms. Okay. So I will show to you, for example, here she produced a keiki. Here it has produced a keiki, here as well, and I just don't think that they would produce right now some blooms, so I will go ahead and get rid of them. Of course this will take away from the energy of the plant, but here for example I have a cane which is really thin at the base. When the orchid did not have roots, it couldn't produce and sustain a healthy, let's say, new growth, a thick one. And from here I have a keiki, and I think I will just leave it like that. Of course, before you cut it, make sure you don't have any eyes which are growing, because you are going to cut off possible blooms. I am not at this point cutting off from the rhizome, but only part of the canes, because if I would cut away on the rhizome, I would basically divide the plant, and the old part still has viable roots, so I want to leave them and let the orchid function properly with them. And I think I will cut this one and one more. Another good reason to let the base of the cane there, it is because it can still produce new growths. Actually, I think I will cut off this one as well. I don't like the looks of it, because it ever since it started to grow initially last spring, it had this infection, so I'm better off. And now I'm just thinking, and I think I will just take this other one too. Well, my orchid is still having this type of infection here, but on this one I will just not yet cut it, and here as well. And this is similar to a virus, but I don't think this orchid is virus, because most of the blooms are looking good. Only on a few of them I have those maroonish stripes, and I think that is a fungal infection. But I will just snip it off, actually, because the top part, I will show to you, is infected as well. And actually I will dip it in a bit of disinfectant to make sure I re-sterilize the tip with which I cut. I will not cut all the way down just yet, because I have two blooms. For now I will cut in here, and later I will cut it all the way. And I think this is pretty much all. Of course, after this video will be done, I will take a Q-tip and I will place cinnamon on all the wounds. Now it is time to properly arrange the blooms and the canes. What I want to do here, I have some green pseudobulbs which did not bloom, and some new growths, and I want just to take them on this other side to make sure that the back part of the plant also looks good. Of course, once the orchid will be done blooming, I will go ahead and actually repot the orchid, because it is in semi-hydro, but it has so many roots and so many pseudobulbs that the orchid actually needs right now to be watered too often, and I cannot keep with that, so I will put it in a self-watering pot. But I will take you along when I will do that as well. I will also take away this stick, because it is too big, too tall, let's say. And this one is staying in a wrong place. I want the stakes to be on the back side of the plant. The notes that did not yet bloom, I'm quite sure they will later on. I will take away this stick and put it on the back part of the plant, because I want to, let's see, to tidy it up. So I'm going to gather the green ones, the not non-blooming ones. guys, this is I believe all I can do. I think the plant looks a lot more prettier like this, a lot more arranged, and I don't have any more older canes in the back side of the plant, but I do have loads of new growth. So let's count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new basil cakeys, and one which is in the air. I think it looks really nice, and once these 6 blooms from here will open up, the plant will look quite pretty. I am not sure if I can turn this cane in any way. Maybe if I put it in front of this one, that can work as well. So alrighty guys, with that being said, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Let me wish you a Merry Christmas and all the good in the world. Thank you very much for watching, and see you all next time. Bye!